can't hear you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's webinar from Datacolor and Vanilla PhotoBooks, how to get the colors in your photo book spot on with Vanilla PhotoBooks. I'm Boris Bergman from Datacolor, and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar. With me, it's Damien Pacey and Richard West tonight. And I'll just give you a brief overview about the next upcoming, let's say, 60 minutes. We will start with a presentation from Rich and from Damien. And after that presentation, we will go into the chat and you have the possibility then to enter all the questions you have. So this webinar will be recorded and we will make it online available. And with the follow-up mails of this webinar, you will receive a download. Okay, so that's now from my side. I will hand you over now to Rich. And Rich, it's now you to share your screen with us. Welcome. Rich, please.
Okay, let's hope so, eh?
It'll work.
Hi, Boris. Do you want to share the screen?
Please do so. Yeah, please do so.
Hi, Boris. I'm losing you.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Please. That's live. Are you able to share the screen with us, Rich? Richard? Okay. Sorry, it looks like Richard has a little issue with his connection at the moment. That's live, and due to the reason we are located all over Europe at the moment. Hopefully he will come back. We tested this this afternoon. There was no issue at all, and Richard has done a couple of webinars with us. So I hope he will recover in a few seconds. Okay, looks like he's coming back, and so no problem. Damien, are you ready also?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so I would like to welcome you to this webinar too.
Thank
Please
you.
feel free. And hopefully Rich will be back in a second. Because I see he is entering the room, but I can't hear him right now.
I can hear you.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, great.
There we go.
Please.
Good, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. That's real life. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Please.
Yeah. So, do you want to share the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, please do so.
That's not happening yet. Okay, ready when you are.
Yeah, please go.
I have nothing that says share my screen, unfortunately, at the moment. So.
Okay, I can see. The system says you're not ready. Okay. Sorry on this.
I'm sitting here at the moment. So.
I can hear you, but
live broadcasting. We've never had this before, have we?
No, never ever. Okay, an idea could be we will. Okay, Rich, do you think you can recover? Yeah. Okay, I can see your screen. Oh, finally.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, right. Yeah, I can see your screen right now. It just now seemed to work.
Good man.
Okay, please go.
Great. Okay. Well, let's live in the vague hope that we can actually carry on this evening. Good evening, folks. Welcome also to Damien, who's with us this evening from Vanilla PhotoBooks. He'll be sharing with us some of the basically tips and tricks of how to produce albums and photo books online, basically. So Vanilla, one of the top companies for doing that over here, and we work closely together. So good to have the opportunity to work together this evening. So what I'm going to be doing first of all is setting the scene for you with regard to calibration. Now, obviously, it's important for those of you out there who want to use offline services and services that you know when they're doing the printing for you. It's useful for you to have the opportunity to say, okay, I can trust what I'm doing now is not going to be a waste of time, which vaguely feels like this webinar at the moment because I'm not sure if I am still presenting or not, but of course that's an interesting analogy because for yourselves you're creating something that you want to be able to send off to a print company and be able to trust what you're seeing as an end result. So problem you've got even if you're in a closed environment is one of color management. If, for instance, you can't trust what you're seeing on screen, then basically there's no way you can tell whether what's going to come out of the back end of that process is going to be good, bad, or indifferent. So, for instance, in this scenario here, you've got a camera taking a picture, but because you're not using a color managed environment, then for starters, the screens are out in this environment. So you could be retouching and looking at your images, and on screen they might look, as in this case, like they've got a bit of a cast to them. So you tone back your images to remove that cast, and that might be, you know, maybe it's making it look too sharp, too dark, too somber. In this case, obviously, it's got a green cast, so we're just removing that. What that means is you're actually wasting your time for starters, because it may be perfect in the first place. But also when you go to print that out, even in your own local environment, if you've been working on a machine, on a screen that isn't color managed, you can't trust what you're seeing, what's going to come out of that back end. So therefore, in this scenario, you can see here we've ended up with sort of a slightly too red image because we've removed the green. That's what we've been doing to make an image look the way we saw it in camera, or someone saw it in camera anyway. And of course, that might not be the worst problem because you may be in a situation where, for instance, your printers aren't actually able to, are not calibrated as well, basically. So fortunately tonight we're working with Vanilla, and Vanilla, a high quality company that makes sure that their print end of things is calibrated to the ICC standards and so on. So therefore you can trust that last part of the puzzle isn't going to happen. But the key thing for you to be able to do is to be able to deliver your images to them in a color managed environment. To say, okay, I've been working in sRGB, what we'd recommend, and that basically you're actually able to say, okay, I've worked in that, I know I've got a calibrated system, I can trust what I'm seeing on screen, so therefore, great, life's a happy place. I know when I send this off to my nice print company here that are actually calibrated themselves, everything will run through true. Of course, being able to calibrate your screens encompasses a whole range of different screens nowadays. So you've got things like tablets, for instance, which people want to be using perhaps to show a little bit of portfolio work or show their images to friends. Different types of displays and different types of technology that are built into there. And all of those could be displaying differently. So if you've got more than one display, you're at risk of wondering, okay, which one do I trust? Likewise, of course, as they age as well, you could have exactly the same displays, but as they get older, displays can change as far as their delivery is concerned. So therefore, you know, this is something that effectively you need to make sure that you are calibrated, you are linearized across the whole of your visual setup, such that when you get into the realms of supplying to different types of stock, you can trust what's going to be coming out on that. So let's think about this logically. First of all, focusing on yourselves. So what do you need to consider about your setup? If you're going to try and standardize things, there's lots of things you need to be taking into consideration, but probably the most predominant one is the human eye. Because we're in this lovely situation where we think we look at exactly the same thing all the time. Now, I know, for instance, that one of my eyes has a slightly redder hue than the other eye, so therefore I see things, I actually see just with my own two eyes, different colors when I'm looking at things. But let's humor me now with this, this little example of color management. So what I want you to do is stare at the white dot in the center there. And whilst you're doing that, focus on the outside there, focus on the red and the green areas. And now keep focusing on that white dot. And whilst we then swap over to these two images here, now I see the one on the right-hand side slightly yellower than the one on the left-hand side. And that's because my eyes have been affected by what was before them, what they were seeing beforehand. You might be seeing this the other way around. You might be seeing no difference at all. And this is part of how the human eye plays in this, basically. So you need to consider, okay, can I rely on myself as being the calibration factor? Well, evidently you can't, and more evidently you can't if you're actually printing out somewhere else, because you really are putting yourself in a trust situation there. So therefore, you know, another example like this, for instance, even just down to hues and tonalities. If I have a look at this particular square pattern here, the A and the B actually look different colors, but actually they're the same tone, same hue, or pretty much the same hue there. And it's only the surrounding area that's putting that that element into my mind of how they should appear, and interpreting the fact that I've got a dark letter B, the actual letter is in dark on one square, and it's a white letter A on the other. That obviously throws.
So it looks like Rich's line has dropped again. Okay, let's see. I'm very sorry for this, but this is real life.
The realms of color management. So
And he's back.
Let's quickly go into the joys of this and have a look at how. Oh, hello. Have I not been here?
Yeah, you have just been off for a few seconds. Yeah, please continue.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Okay. Get the feeling this is a not thriving presentation tonight, folks.
No,
if you can
no,
hear me,
not
I
too
do
good.
apologize.
Rich, can you hear me?
Hey, Boris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, please continue, Rich.
Hi, Boris. Have you heard anything I've been presenting so far?
No, 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 no. There was a drop about 2 slides. We missed.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So where are you up with me to? Have we done the little color, the eye chart
Yeah,
test yet, or not?
that was no, that was the slide before we dropped.
So back here, just on when we were talking about paper.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, sorry about that, folks. I was delightfully hoping that you were with me all the way there, but evidently not. So anyway, are you hearing me now, Boris?
Yes, please continue.
Hello? Good. Okay. So essentially, you've got a situation which we need to address, and this is a situation of your eyes. You need to, I suppose, first of all, consider if you're going to, spend money, albeit very cost effectively, on things like Vanilla's lovely photo books. You want to make sure that you're actually supplying something that is correct in the first place. And let me just convince you, I hope, first of all, with this little test, that essentially your eyes can play tricks on you. So if I ask you to stare at that little white dot in the center of the slide here, And just keep focusing on that. And if we then switch to this slide here, for my eyes, on the right-hand side, we've got a slightly lighter, yellower version of the same image. Now, these images are exactly the same, because there's no reason why they should appear any different other than what's gone on with your eyes beforehand and my eyes beforehand. Now, some of you may be seeing it more red on one side, more yellow on the other side. But at the end of the day, what you've got here is proof, rather like this opportunity here, to say, well, your eyes can get fooled, you can get fooled, your brain can get fooled. Now, in this little scenario, the question is, all right, which is the darker square, A or B? And what I'm going to show you is they're the same, pretty much identical. But the joys of your own perception, the brain is interpreting this and suggesting it's actually presumably lighter on the B because you've got the dark lettering there compared to the A. It's actually throwing your mind, basically. So key thing here is we're suggesting to you, if you're going to be producing work, photographic work, wherever it may be going, then really you should be testing yourself and getting your workflow into a calibrated environment using some form of solution. And that solution, as far as we're concerned, is something called ICC profiles. So this is your means by which you can actually standardize your workflow. Make sure that those different aging displays, different types of stock, different types of computer and device that you're looking on are all taken, in inverted commas, out of the picture just by using a standard that you can basically be presenting to or using to work with. So if I just pop into a different screen here and pop open something called the color sync utility. Now, for those of you on the Mac, then you'll find this in your applications utilities environment, so applications utilities folder. For those of you in the Windows, there's something called color on there, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the application is. What we're going to show you here is the joys of a couple of color spaces to hopefully get your head around what's going on with color. So this is the RGB or the sRGB color space. So you see it's quite a nice color space. What we're seeing here is all the colors.
Rich. Okay. Okay, it doesn't look good here. Sorry. We will try our very best to get him back in the room. He's still listed, so he has a connection, but it looks like that his line is all down. I'm very, very sorry here. And okay. Okay, he's not coming back at the moment. No idea what happened. I'm very sorry about this, but this is a live situation. And I know Rich is located outside from London, and so it looks like somebody has kicked him out from the internet at the moment. So looks like he's coming back. But the audio connection is not there again at the moment. Okay. Rich is recovering.
The production.
Rich?
Hello, Boris. Hi.
Sorry,
Hi.
you have been
Did you
dropping
lose me again?
again. Yeah, we lose you again completely.
Oh,
Um, I think we should do something. I think the best idea from my side would be if you just leave the room completely once and come back, and this will take 30 seconds. Hopefully, this will recover your connection here. So
okay,
that would
mate.
be the idea from my
Is that
side.
not going to drop the room?
Now, if you leave the room, do not close the room, please. That will help. So as I will stay with Damien, we will stay in the room, so there will be no problem at all. So please just, I think it would be good to allow you this 1 minute and
Sorry,
do
Boris,
so.
say again.
Yeah,
You dropped out,
yeah.
unfortunately, for my end.
Sorry. You will just leave the room. Do not close the
Mhm.
room. Just leave the room, then enter again, please.
Okay,
This should help.
and
And as
how
soon
do
as
I
I
leave
will
the...
see you, you just quit the application.
Oh, right, okay. Right, okay.
And then you will see a message and just say leave. That's important.
Leave webinar, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this will bring us Rich back within, let's say, less than 1 minute. I'm very, very sorry here. I have to apologize. But that's a life situation, and this can happen all over the world due to reason. And internet is not a guarantee on 100% productivity all time. 24/7 should be there, but as you can imagine, that's real life, and we are in a life situation, and it has nothing to do with Wembley tonight. You see, as I'm located in Germany, and most of you are located in the UK, so I don't think this is the reason here. And which will be back in a second, hopefully. I can't see him now, but have a look. Don't see him. Uh, Hopefully he will attend in a few seconds. Okay. So, Damien, due to a reason, Rich has some problems. Could you please just um, do me a favor, and we will put you now to present your part. The order wouldn't be correct, but this would
Sure.
give us
Yeah.
the possibility to continue with the webinar, and so we have at least your part, and I will now promote you to be moderator, so you will be now able to share your screen with us. So please do so. And as soon as Rich is back again, you will continue as your part, and then we go over to Rich. And
Thank
thank you
you,
for sharing
Boris.
your screen. Yes,
Thank you,
of
Boris.
course,
I
please.
hope this makes sense to the people
Yeah,
listening
hopefully it will do.
and
Yeah.
watching. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to take you through how to put a photo book together using the Vanilla PhotoBooks software. And the first stage would be to actually download the software from the Vanilla PhotoBooks website. It's available for PC or a Mac, and it's totally free to download. So you would just click on one of the download buttons on our site and install the software, follow the simple instructions to install the software. The next step is to actually take your prepare your photographs that you wish to use within your photo book. I've got a folder here of color corrected images. These are RGB JPEGs, which is the formats accepted by the software. So I've put these in a folder on my desktop, and the next step is to actually open up the Vanilla PhotoBooks software, and at this screen I will create a new project, and I'm going to choose the VIP Photographic Seamless Wedding Album, which is actually our bestseller, a very popular book with professional photographers. So I'm just going to open that, and I'm going to name that project so I can save it and open it at a later date and work on it. I don't have to work on it all at once, I can work on it in stages. You'll see here that the project opens. Just reduce this screen down slightly. There are some instructions here that we don't actually need, helpful instructions. I'm just going to delete those for the purpose of this demonstration. And you'll see in the main window we have our current spread that we're actually on within the book. So this is when you open the book, pages 1 and 2. And along the top of the software here, you will see a preset template that we've put in place just to help people get started. You're not fixed to this template. It's actually totally customizable or adaptable for your own needs, but we've put it in there to help people rather than giving them a lot of blank pages. So the next step is to actually add your images to the software. So I'm going to select the folder that I put my images in earlier, and you will see that these have now been added on the left hand side. These are all high-res JPEGs, so it's very fast software, runs locally on the machine. Now at this point I can literally drag and drop the images into the layout as I wish, or there is actually, I'll just go back a couple of steps, I can actually use the autoflow function, and this will automatically drop the images into the layout in the order shown on the left hand side. I'll just quickly go through that, and as you can see, it's not done a bad job of dropping those images in. It's cut a few heads off in places, but that's easily fixed by double clicking on an image, for example, and just adjusting the crop. If you're not happy with the layout of a particular spread, down the bottom here you see that we've got loads and loads of built-in page styles, and if you see one that suits your needs, you can simply drag it up onto the page and it will reformat those pictures into the new page style. So very easy to do. I'll just drag this one up as an example. So that's reformatted those images into that page style. None of our templates are actually locked, so very easy to move items around on the screen and to scale boxes. You can add a picture box, for example, at any point, and manually drag images into it. So you can create your own templates, and you can also save these templates. Once you've created a layout, you can actually save a template. I'll call this Damien 1, and you'll see this appear at the bottom. Now if I want to apply that to another spread, I'll just click on another page here. I just simply drag that up, and I've replicated that same design on another page using different pictures. So very versatile and very easy to use. Now if I wanted to for example change the background of a page, very easy to do. Up on the right hand side here of the software we have various tools. There's an item tool or a shape tool here. This is a picture tool which helps you adjust images, etc. There's a text tool which we'll come back to later, a measurement tool for use with positioning images, and the last one is the page background tool, and I'll just demonstrate how that works. We can click on that and select a flat color for the background. We're not limited to these colors. You can actually mix your own colors. So you can choose sliders and you can actually create your own mix of colors. If I just OK that, you'll get an idea of how that works. At any stage during your layout, you can actually, there's up in the left here, there are undo and redo buttons, so you can go back stages. And if you didn't want a flat background, for example, you could use one of our preset backgrounds, which are shown at the bottom. And if none of these are suitable, you can actually add your own. You can add your own photographs or textures. I'm just going to drag up one of our preset ones for now. This is a wedding kind of style background. If I double click on that, you've got the same cropping tools that you have with the main photographs. So you can position that how you wish. And then another thing you can do, is you can adjust the opacity of that background. You can make a tint of that, which is quite a popular effect that people want to do, to make a subtle effect. Another popular thing is actually adding something like a drop shadow to a photograph, and you can do this to a number at a time. So that's very popular, and you've got complete control over the appearance of the drop shadow. So you can change the size of it, the opacity. So you've got a lot of control within the software. I'll just go to another spread to demonstrate this. I'll go back to that first one. And here's a demonstration of how to apply a mask to to a photograph. Along the bottom here, you see some different masks that are actually built into the software. And if I just drag one of those up, you'll see that it changes the photo in the same way that using a mask in Photoshop would. So it makes different areas of the photo transparent. I will just change the background of that page so you can see it properly. I'll just resize that slightly. So drag and drop all the time. You can drag up different masks onto the photos to get different effects. And like I said, you can create your own masks if you feel limited by the ones within the software. Now if I wanted to add text, for example, to this page, I could just click on the text tool, position the text box, double click to type my text, and then I'll just put it in white so you can actually see it, and choose a typeface, a suitable typeface, and select the size of that. So there you can see I've quickly added some text to that. Very versatile. Hello? Hi, has my connection dropped?
No, we can still hear, mate.
Sorry. I couldn't hear anything, so I'll
I
carry
can
on.
understand your concern this evening, yes, indeed.
I know.
Surprisingly, I'm
I was
back as well.
carrying on there, and oh, hi, Richard. How are you? Right.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, so
So sorry
this is
if
great,
I'm
though. I mean, I have to say, love the software. This
reading
is looking
through
really
this.
cool.
Oh, it's very good, very easy to use, and very powerful. Actually, there's lots of features within it that that actually are not obvious at first, but if you delve into it, you'll find that you can actually create something very elaborate, or as simple as you like. And it's using this drag and drop interface. People love it, and they love our templates. We've actually developed these over a few years now to keep them simple and clean and effective without being too gimmicky. So they're actually templates that we see used in people's projects. So it's very, very encouraging to see people actually producing an album and using our templates. They're very happy with them. So I'll demonstrate if I just drag up a template there. It's great. You know, you can just do that, and you can modify them as you wish. We don't lock anything. So
I totally understand why.
it's
Well,
great to get feedback.
Yeah,
so I've shown you the masks and adding backgrounds, etc. If I wanted to add my own photograph here to the backgrounds, I could just click on a little tab here, and I could select. If I just go to my folder, I could select that first image, for example, and that name's fine. You'll see it will appear down the bottom here, and then I can just drag it up onto the background, and it will add it. Just delete some of these so you can see it. That will actually add it as a background, so I can apply that to other spreads.
nice.
So again, using the opacity tool, I could just adjust that to get a kind of a knockback effect. And you're not actually limited by the tools within the software. If you wanted to go and design an elaborate layout in Photoshop or InDesign, for example, you could do so, and then you could export it as an image and then drag it into a picture box on our within the software. So you could actually produce quite an elaborate layered layout and import it in. So I know a lot of people like to use things like Lightbox and Photoshop, InDesign, Quark for their own kind of layouts. So you're not actually limited if you find these tools aren't sufficient for your needs, or you want to use fonts which you know kind of strange, weird and wonderful fonts. You can easily do so in another package and then import it. So basically, once you've oh, sorry. I was going to just say regarding positioning items on a page, people find it they want to sometimes align things and order things so that they're nicely lined up on a page. I'll take this one as an example. If I take these images, I can control click or on a Mac or right click on a PC, and you get a little menu pop up, and this is very useful for aligning items and spacing items. So I can do this, and I can go into space, and I'll say I want, for example, a 5mm gap between these items, and it will do that for me. So you can create some quite complicated setups. All these templates at the bottom have actually been created using the tools within the software. So a grid like this started off as a mixture of boxes on a page, and simply using the align tools, it was able to be brought into a kind of cohesive grid, if I can do it correctly. So you can create some very ordered and structured layouts yourself very easily without having to kind of resort to a lot of mathematics or complicated page layout programs. So I'll just get a layout back there, drag some images in. So basically, when you're happy with your layout, you can then, there are certain tools within the software where you can check the project and create a proof as well, and you can create a multi-page PDF proof, for example, to send to a client for their approval. And once they've approved that and they're happy with it, you could then click on this shopping cart icon here on the right, and that will take you through to the payment gateway, where you would enter your account information and confirm your order details, and then ultimately place your order. Once you've placed your order, the software automatically uploads your photo book straight to the production department, who immediately start to process your order and produce a book. So it's a very quick process. An average upload takes about 20 minutes, hopefully with a good internet connection. Um, and at the checkout stage, if you actually enter this code, you will get a 25% discount off your order, and that's available to Datacolor webinar viewers.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Sorry to
know
rush through that, but I think that kind of
you've saved the evening as far as I'm concerned, Damien. So thank you kindly for filling in so easily with all the technical problems I was having at this end. So hopefully
sure.
I'm now over those. Just a quick question. So what sort of turnaround do you get on the photo books?
From placing your order, or from when the order is actually uploaded, you're looking at 7 working days until that's actually delivered to you. So very
cool.
quick turnaround. We often exceed that, but we say 7 working days, you know, as an outside kind of guideline.
Great stuff. All right,
so
cool.
it's
And
very
it's and the URL for the website is vanillaphotobooks.co.uk, isn't it?
It is. Yes, it is indeed. I will just try and open that up again. Bear with me a second. Yeah, you can see it along the top there. Vanillaphotobooks.co.uk. And there's all our information, pricing information on there, etc. So.
Smashing. And there's Mac and Windows there, obviously. So easy enough to work across both platforms. So
and totally free.
Excellent. Well, that's great, David. Thank you kindly. I'm sure that our viewers may have some questions at the end of the session. So please stick around for that. I think at this point we'll throw the dice of fate and see whether I can take over the presentation again or not. But let's see if Boris is prepared to. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, but thanks very much, Damien. That was super. I think
Thank you.
My job now is to try and fit in into the remaining few minutes a bit of a backdrop as to what we were saying. I'm not at all sure, obviously, what any of you heard from me earlier on. But essentially, of course, the key thing here is you've got these great photo books that you can be using through Vanilla. And if you want to get to those, and you want the output from that to be as good as Damien's been making them look there, then one of the key things you need to be doing is making sure that your colors are correct, because there's nothing worse than going to all that trouble of correcting something and making sure it's running or looking superb as far as you're concerned, and then finding out that it isn't. And if you didn't get to see this earlier on, basically this is the sort of scenario you could be in, and the intention here is to tell you how to address that. In particular, if you, before you're sending the images off to wherever it is to be printed, be it with yourselves and your own printer, or for instance with Vanilla, if you're looking at those images and deciding that, okay, they're not quite how I want them to look, and you're retouching them, and you're adjusting those images, and you're doing that on a screen or screens that aren't color managed, you could actually be doing more damage than you should be. You're thinking, for instance, in this example where we've got a bit of a green tinge to our image there. So we're retouching that out. We're taking that back to the more natural look. But actually what you're doing is removing green and making the image look redder. So therefore, as you can see on the printer there, it's looking redder, or it could, in worst case scenario, if that print environment isn't any good, look blue, for instance, or any other sort of shade or imperfection could be brought in just because you don't really know what your end result is going to look like. Now the good thing is that with Vanilla, company we know and trust, that can provide good color managed back-end service for printing and producing those photo books. So that element at the back end, stages 6 and 7, or stage 7 anyway, should be taken out of the picture as far as that's concerned. The bit you need to do is address this front end piece. The fact that when you're retouching, you could be on multiple different displays and you would get a different look and feel to those images each time. Or you could be in this delightful situation where you've had a great display, worked fantastically to start off with, but it's aged over time. I'm fully aware that my nice new, or relatively new laptop that I'm working on today, the actual color side of things has dropped. I've gone from being able to see 98% of sRGB to about 94% in the last year. So I'm not particularly happy with the delightful manufacturers of this laptop, but just goes to show what sort of a difference time can make on displays as well, and that's on a Retina display as well. So there is a solution, and we have the solution in the form of something called a Datacolor Spider. So the Spider gives you the opportunity to actually calibrate screens, tablets, projectors. You've got the opportunity to really sort of change the way you're seeing things here. And the way it works is very simple. As you can see, it's sort of hanging the display. It's connected via the USB port. Comes with software. You run the software, Mac or PC again. So same as the vanilla software, you've got the opportunity to run it irrespective of which platform you happen to be working on. And it'll run. You run the software in front of the on the display, and as you can see there, it comes up with a little area where you can hang your Spider after a first couple of setup steps, basically making sure that you're in a relatively ambient light source or lighting environment. And then it runs a selection of color swatches in front of the eye of the device. Now, the device reads those as a little sensor, selection of sensors in there, basically a selection of filters on that sensor. And it reads the color swatches, and it knows what those color swatches should be, because the software in there tells it, has lookup charts basically for what those color swatches should be displaying as. And so if they aren't, it produces what we call a profile, or an adjustment factor, which is the adjustment profile for your particular display. Simple as anything. Very few stages, and just means that you go from being in an unknown situation to being in a nice fixed situation where, okay, you can trust what you're seeing as far as the screen is concerned. And more importantly, that means, okay, if I'm now retouching in that environment, I'm not wasting time trying to correct colors or the image data. Maybe it's too dark, too light. I'm not having to waste time doing that when I didn't need to, because the actual image would have been great had it been looking on a calibrated screen. So good thing is, this is really the only important step you need to worry about if you're working with a company like Vanilla, where their back-end process is very clean and constantly monitored. So therefore, you should be in a great situation for producing your photo books via them in their service. Another thing your same Spider can do, actually, if you do have tablets or telephones, iPhones, for instance, you can actually get a download of our Gallery app to run on your either now iPads or in fact Android devices as well. So you can actually calibrate or do a calibration on those. It's not an ICC calibration in this case, but it is a calibration getting as near to true color as you possibly can on those devices. So again, if you're using that as a tool for quick demonstrations of images and so on, showcasing, you've got that catered for as well. So that's sort of given you a bit of a background to where you're going. If you do, for instance, work in the video industry, then you can also do things with our TV, Spider TV device in order to correct that. And there are 3 different types of the Spider 4, in fact. So I think if I get a chance, I'll sort of run through what those 4 are. But from the print point of view, we've really pretty much covered the piece that you need to worry about, because in the case of Vanilla, you've got this great situation where you can actually trust their back-end process. But I suppose it would be silly of me not to mention the other end of things. If you were printing yourself, then there's something you can actually do to address that scenario, and that's with one of our other devices from ourselves. So if you this is only for you if you're printing out on your own stock, for instance, for individual shots and so on. We have something called a Spider Print, which allows you to run a similar process to what we've described there on screen, but in this case on print. So you can actually produce profiles specifically for your printed inks and stocks, basically. And as you can see here, it's sort of contemporary to the RGB process on screens. In fact, it's almost the reverse, because what you're doing here is you're actually using a device that beams light at print and bounces it back. And this is exactly the sort of process that the guys at Vanilla are doing on a, I'm sure, daily basis, or certainly weekly basis, in order to guarantee the output. And the good thing is that stock tends to change less frequently than screens. Screens can be very different depending on where you're sighting them, for instance. So therefore, this is a back-end process, and as you can see, it's just giving you the opportunity to print out a grid on the relevant stock. It comes with a little plastic guide there, you can see there, and essentially that allows you to run across each line of color. Very similar process, as I say, to what's going on screen with the spider for the screen, and gives you an end profile for your printed environment as well, basically. So it allows you to finish up with a profile for both ends of the process. But as I say, really only relevant if you print out a lot yourselves. And nowadays, I think most people are sort of looking for a trusted company to work with on a print basis. We certainly trust the boys and girls at Vanilla on that basis, and hence, got them on board tonight for the session. So I think that's kind of giving you a little bit of an inkling into how the print side of things work. So we'll just cover off a couple of frequently asked questions, which may come up in the questions and answers session in a second. And I mentioned there were 3 different types of spider. So just to give you a bit of a précis of that, there's an Express, a Pro, and an Elite. Now, the Express is really aimed at home users who only have one screen. So if I'm working, for instance, on my laptop, and the Express is the right tool for me to be color managing my device, probably. If I happen to have 2 screens, or have a delightful Cintiq from Wacom that I plug into my screen to work on, then basically into my computer, then essentially I've got more than one screen, and therefore I would need at least the Pro or the Elite. Now, the Elite is the top of the range device, the Pro is the mid-range, and as you're getting, the Express is the entry level. Another difference between the Pro and the Elite, or with the Pro and the Elite to the Express, is the Express doesn't have an ambient sensor, whereas the Pro and the Elite both have an ambient sensor, which is essentially an extra piece of sensing that goes on with the actual device there to check the lighting conditions that you're in, to try and allow for if you're in bright or dark lighting conditions, basically. So there are other benefits, and if you want to find out more later on, the Elite, for instance, is a great tool if you're working across a range of different machines as well as different displays. If I'm in, for instance, a design studio, ideal machine for that. And also the Elite does a great job of checking across the entire screen. So it's not just checking the central point, it's actually doing a dispersed check as far as that Elite is concerned. So so that's giving you a little bit of a run through of the different devices there. Tonight we certainly won't have time to talk about the other end of your workflow, which is perhaps of relevance to a lot of you, which is the photographic end, but we will be doing another webinar, hopefully with better connectivity conditions sometime in the not too distant future, in which we'll no doubt be covering off many of the tools listed here. So the cube, for instance, you can see there is next to the camera. That's a 3-dimensional pocketable white card, if you like, or grey card, something that you can have about your person, but be sure to keep it in its bag if you do, when you're out and about taking photographs. So so that's the cube for you, the spider checker. I'll show you at a later stage as well how that works in conjunction with things like Lightroom and Photoshop to give you more than just a grey card, an entire color range as far as your photography is concerned to shoot for. Really ideal, in particular for wedding photographers. So or people who are shooting in mixed lighting conditions, where you get that lovely situation where the bride or groom perhaps may look somewhat tanned in the church, come out and look very pasty on the photographs outside of the church, and then again looks somewhat tanned in the reception afterwards. What you're having there is different lighting conditions affecting the way your camera is viewing the images, and therefore the spider checker gives you a color chart with 50 plus colors there to aim for, to actually try and to work with some software and work with Lightroom in order to calibrate your process. But we'll cover that on another evening's event, basically, when hopefully I'll have appeased the gods of demonstration, and we will have a long enough uplink on the internet for you to hear what I'm saying. So I think with that, folks, we've probably reached the end of the the slideware, the session tonight, I'll quickly run through some extra bits of resources. So if you do want to find out more about the Datacolor range of products, have a look at this this site here. That's our landing site for the Spider side of things. If you go to the spider.datacolor.com/orders, you've got the opportunity to order the Datacolor product range there, so it'll take you through. And there's also a whole bunch of information and guidance on there. And also you can go and download our ebook, which has the benefit once you download it that it won't matter what bandwidth I have, you'll be able to read through and get tips and tricks on your entire workflow and how to prepare your images for either going and printing them out yourself or sending them off, for instance, to the lovely folks at Vanilla to get them out on their photo book solutions. Whole bunch of other stuff, whole bunch of other resources. So there's stuff on YouTube as far as videos on and tips and tricks on how to work any of our solutions. And likewise, Facebook, we have an ongoing Facebook blog where you can go and give us feedback and hopefully get more information. But most importantly, if you have any technical queries and questions, we have a support line and a website to go to if you'd rather not phone, if you want to just raise a ticket on support, you can do that via the URL there. So I'm afraid it was a shaky start to the evening. I apologize for I'm not quite sure what technical issues we were having here, but hopefully you're still with me at the end. I will thank you very, very much for your time, and very much to Damien as well for his hard work this evening, and for Boris, who undoubtedly was filling with great skill whilst I was unable to talk. But now, folks, I think it probably comes to our point of the evening to say thank you very much for your time, and let's open up the questions and answers sections for you. And at this point, I can find out whether you're all still there or not. So, hello.
Okay, thank you, Rich. We are coming to an end, and to make it easier, I will share my screen for a second. And please feel free to enter all the questions you have. I see the very first one is there. The question pod you will find in the main GoToWebinar panel. There is a question section. And the very first question is for you, Damien. It's, does Vanilla supply a print profile for soft-proof the pictures before insert them into PhotoBook? Damien.
I think perhaps I can answer that one, because I was talking
Okay,
to I know maybe we've lost Damien now, but I was talking to Raj at Vanilla earlier on, and he was saying that yes, there's a potential to. It would be handy if you could, for instance, email Vanilla with your details, and then they can actually come back to you on that one, because obviously interesting to find out what sort of stocks, etc., you'd be interested in as far as that's concerned. Key thing from our perspective is they're in a lovely situation that you can actually trust what they're doing color-wise. So you know, it's a safe pair of hands to be printing via, as far as we're concerned. But yeah, bung your emails on. I'm sure they have an info email on the Vanilla PhotoBooks website, so vanillaphotobox.co.uk.
Thank you, Richard. I am here. It's
Oh,
Damien. That's correct. Yes, what you said. Thank you.
cool. Okay. I wasn't sure whether the joys of the internet had damned you at that point there. So.
Okay. Due to reason we had some problems tonight, we will not going to pass. We will do the questionnaire. Have your expectations been satisfied? Yes, yes. No, please give us a feedback on our question here. I have just opened now, and sorry for the technical issues. That's a live situation that can happen. Please just give us a feedback and be honest on this.
Yeah,
There's another question. Yeah.
Okay.
There's another question. Can Spider 3 be used for calibration of a tablet, e.g. with a Samsung tablet? Very
That's
easy
no,
answer. That's a no. You see, there is a limitation. We have the Spider 3 that had been upgraded with the functionality to calibrate iOS devices. That means there was the Spider Gallery application, which you can find in the App Store, and it's free of charge, but it's only on iOS on Spider 3. With the Spider 4, we also upgraded the functionality to calibrate iOS devices. So on the Spider 4, you can calibrate the iOS as well as the Android devices. Only on the Spider 4, sorry.
Indeed, I think you also get the 26% improvement in quality or accuracy with the Spider 3, don't you? So.
Yeah, we have. You see, in fact, for all those who have a Spider 3, you see the Spider 4 increases the quality by 26%. This is one major bullet point for the Spider 4, but there's much more. You see, we have covered the sensors. We have double shielded sensors inside. That's a point on durability and long time living. And that's you see the entire internal components have been redeveloped, so they are new. Only the shape, so the outside has been is the same as the Spider 3. So that's one important point on the hardware. But we also have upgraded the software as well. We have one, what I would say, one important point to talk about. You see, we have a database on all monitors which are at the moment on the market and all that have been on the market in the past. And during the calibration, you will be asked, okay, what type of display do you have? It's a white gamut or a normal gamut? Is it a CCFL? Is it white LED? Is it RGB LED? And this information you have to answer on the Spider 3. On the Spider 4 software, you can let the software retrieve this information from the database. And also, if there is new display technology on the market in the future, the software can retrieve this information from the database. It's just on you to allow this functionalities in the Spider 4 software. This is also a new functionality, and from my point of view, that's very important, because I know a lot of you will know those techniques on their displays, but I think, especially on photographers, why should you think about those stuff you want to work with? It's just something you want to work. You don't want to need how the internal work is done. That can be done by the Datacolor software, and so that's why we have it in here.
Cool. Just had an email in just to say that yes, the confirmation from Vanilla, who are obviously watching us. The Big Brother is watching us and stressing with our connectivity issues tonight as well. But essentially, they do indeed calibrate on a daily basis, just to confirm that. So you really can't get any more accurate as far as color is concerned than that at the back end of the process. So,
okay, and we have the feedback on the question number 1. Sorry on this, we had the little technical issues, so sorry. We had a no rate of 30%. Usually it's less than 5%,
indeed,
but the majority here was almost 70%. Yes, they have been satisfied. Sorry,
I can only say thank you to all of you for,
yes.
thank you to all of you for sticking in with us there. I do apologise about that, but as Boris says, unfortunately, we had real life in abundance tonight.
Okay, and we have another question, which is the webinar was too long, too short, just right. And Damien, we have more questions and more feedback here.
That's great. Sorry, I'm here. Yes.
No, it's okay. There's a question from Joan. If there's the possibility to repeat the same webinar in the future, from my side, I would say that's a good idea to do this. It's just a question when we will do this. Due to reason we are going to Christmas time, it will be difficult to arrange this before Christmas, but could be a good idea to have this webinar again with Vanilla PhotoBooks just in the New Year's first 1 or 2 months. Rich, what do you think about it?
Well, actually, I'm going to be doing a recap in December on the 11th, I think it is, to run through some of the best bits of the year. So something that we're working with some other partners, but I wonder whether Damien might be available, or whether we might be able to work with Damien and Vanilla again for that session. Maybe have a guest appearance from him, and yeah, okay, great.
Certainly, anytime, Richard. It's been very, very informative, and I've loved listening to you tonight, on and off.
Yeah, indeed, yes, yes. It's every fifth or sixth minute of words, yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, it's the joys of these live productions.
Richard, I've just seen another question come up, directed at us, asking if we're available in Canada.
Right. Okay.
Can I answer that? Is that?
Yes,
Yeah, sure.
please. That's yours.
Yes, certainly. We can ship internationally, anywhere in the world. So yes, that's a very simple answer to that question.
Yeah. Same question from Cyprus as well, actually. So yeah.
If someone wants to order from those places, they can simply send us an email, and we will work out a shipping cost for them, and it's very reasonable cost, and we will set that up on our system, and we'll be able to send their book out to them and give them a shipping time and a shipping cost. So yes, perfectly doable. It's not a problem.
Great.
And we have another question here from Cyprus. Damien, it's also on you.
Yes.
Please.
I can't see the full question.
Yeah, I think if you click on the question,
click on the question, then you'll see it.
Yeah.
The output file format from
Yes.
Vanilla PhotoBooks. Well, we within the software the only output you can really do is a PDF proof, if that's what the person is referring to. But when they say the output file format, I don't know if they're referring to how the files are transmitted to us, or
I suppose yes, it might be.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, but obviously that's kind of bespoke to yourselves, really, isn't it?
It's a bespoke system format, but we don't. The only output from the actual software is to output as a PDF proof or a low-res JPEG format, and that's basically in order for you to proof the book to a client.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
It's not a high-resolution format as such. It's just for a proofing process. So yes,
cool.
but
at least you could display that on your nicely calibrated iPad or Android tablet, which has been calibrated with our Spider as well. So a winning combination of both ways around, really, I suppose, if you wanted to take that as a soft proof before the hard copy came back. So.
Indeed. And I'd just like to say that today we've actually, if you just let me say, we've agreed an international service with our couriers, and we'll be making all destinations worldwide available worldwide within the next 3 weeks. So we can actually cover the whole planet, essentially. You can order your Vanilla PhotoBook from wherever, and we can get it to you. So yes, that's literally been signed today. So.
Great stuff. A question from Paul there. How long is the 25% discount open for? Now, I have to say I'm not sure myself on that.
Right. Yes, that's a very good question. The 25% discount, it's certainly available, I would imagine, till the end of the year.
It was indeed, yeah, yes. It runs out 31st of the 12th, actually. I'm just checking
31st of the 12th, yes.
Yeah, so 2013. So
sure. Yes, the end of the year.
Yeah, indeed. Cool. So perfect for Christmas then, basically. If anybody wants to get those nice family albums done before Christmas as a present, I'm sure that'd be ideal, really, wouldn't it?
And people have time off just before Christmas, so they can spend their time putting together a lovely photo book to give as a gift.
And the ideal gift to go with it, obviously, a Datacolor Spider.
Indeed.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think on that cheesy moment we're going to leave it, aren't we?
Okay, good. And if I have a look in the list, it looks like we're coming down with the list now. So
yeah. Yeah, obviously, not really
okay,
questions tonight,
there
otherwise.
was an information from one of our colleagues from Vanilla. Make sure that you order your photo books before December 10th to ensure delivery before Christmas.
Oh, right,
So
yes.
that's I will pass it around to everybody. So I think that's worth to know. Okay, so that brings us
Great
to an
stuff.
end. Great. So, Damien, I would like
Yes.
to say thank you. It was a pleasure for us having you here tonight.
Well, thank you,
I
Boris, and thank you, Richard. It was a pleasure talking to you and demonstrating the software.
Yeah,
yeah.
great to have you, and thanks for the save stepping in there whilst I had all my technical issues at this side of
That's okay,
the UK.
Richard.
Okay. Thank you to everybody who attend here tonight. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. Apart from the technical issues we had, but sorry for this. That's live. Hopefully, it will be better next time. And I would like to thank you from Datacolor, and Rich, it's you and Damien to close down the show tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Well, just a thank you from both of us, really, and yeah, thanks to all for putting up with the technical issues, and look forward to seeing you again. As I say, we will be doing another one on the 11th of December, so if Damien's
10th,
available,
10th,
10th.
10th
Oh,
of
we beg your pardon, 10th of December. Right, beg your
10th.
pardon.
Yep.
Um, yes, indeed. I think it's a Holby City night as far as my family are concerned. So great excuse not to be watching. But yeah, indeed. Well, perhaps if Damien's available, then that'd be great. And well, thanks, and see you again next time.
Thank you very much.